Coming to get you, Barbara.
Here's Johnny.
You like scary movies?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scared Speechless, the podcast where two insidious grown men try and find the words to describe our favorite and least favorite horror films. I'm your host, Jake, along with my co-host, Aaron.
I like that because it's not boys. You usually say boys.
Yeah, well, we were boys last week, and now we're men. Now that we're men, we can do anything. Now that we're men, guys, if we get like a 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify for this podcast, we will do the SpongeBob animated movie because, you know, at that point, why the fuck not? But that being said, Aaron, what movie are we talking about today?
We are talking about Insidious Chapter 2.
The second chapter of the book.
The Book of Insidious.
Is the third one called Chapter 3? I never looked that up.
I don't
because it shouldn't. It shouldn't be.
Yes, it's Insidious Chapter 3.
Because the third movie has nothing to do with the first two movies.
Really? Because I thought I saw it say young Josh, like a credit for young Josh and Insidious Chapter 3.
Maybe a cameo, but the main plot has nothing to do with it, really. I know the new
there's
one
also
does.
The Insidious The Last Key.
I know. I saw that in theaters. I actually took a girl that I had a thing for at the time to see it. It did not work out. And the movie was really bad. So that is an unfortunate dual combination of life. But either way, I don't think the fourth one has anything. I think the only connecting thread is Lynn Shay as Elise is in all four of the movies, and I don't know if she's in the new one, but I assume she'll show up at some point. Because why not? She's like the main character of this franchise.
Right.
And speaking of Elise, we talked about it in the first episode, but she dead. She dead.
She is super dead.
She's super dead.
Movie.
And I think that's like a really fascinating way to not only end the first movie, but to start this movie. Like, it catches you. Like, it grabs you right off the bat. It's like, oh, fuck, all right, we're already in the shit. And like,
yeah, we started,
Yeah, and it's like, you end that first movie and you think, shit, all right, they got the kid back and you can finally breathe. A spoiler alert, I guess, for Insidious 1 and Insidious 2 going forward. Spoilers for all the movies we talk about, guys. It's a podcast where we talk about movies. But either
you should know better.
Yeah, you should know better.
Fucking prick.
I like how angry you got there.
Hey man. Well, if you're doing a show, you gotta be emotive.
You gotta be
authoritative. That's what I'm trying to be. Emotive.
You gotta be authoritative. But no, you end that last movie, and you think like, oh, like you can finally breathe, like most horror films. And it's not the only horror film to ever like do that, like oh, everything's not okay ending. But the way that it so viscerally has him just like choke her to death is just a great setup for this movie too. And I like that plot line a lot, actually. For a sequel, I think it's one of the more unique plot lines to have Patrick Wilson, who in that first film is so endearing and the family man and just wants his son back, and you see how stressed and broken he is, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking. Exactly, it's so sad and heartbreaking. And then in this movie, he's so fucking creepy because he's obviously inhabited by that evil spirit, Parker. I forget the character's last name, but the evil spirit, which brings me to the villain of this movie, transphobia.
That's true. Yeah.
Not actually, but how do you feel about that? The mom like abusing the kid and forcing him to dress like a girl.
I mean, I feel like it was not too like. The one thing that I had with this movie is that I felt like I saw so many like kind of tropes and stuff like that. Like
way more tropey than the first.
Right. It's hella tropey. Like the old man getting in the elevator and then he like leaves. And then she's like, I laughed so hard at that scene.
I like that scene.
she was like, that patient that was going, and he was with me on the elevator, and she's like, girl, there is no like, he died. And I'm like, oh my god. And then they're like, oh, like
No, I
cupping
know.
their hands over their face, like
They do the malignant thing, but in a movie that's not self-aware.
They also said malignant in this movie.
They did.
That made me giggle.
Well, okay, see, it's funny you say that because I actually think that's one of the scarier scenes. I don't know why that scene always gets me, because that's one of the scenes I do remember, even though I haven't seen this movie in a hot minute. But for some reason, I always remember that scene. I don't know, just because there's two scenes I remember this movie. I remember the scene that you were just talking about with the elevator and the old man, because I don't know. It works for me. I do think it's kind of creepy. Maybe I'm a little bitch, but
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
it did work for me. Maybe it's because I was all home alone and under the blankies and I was scared.
Yeah.
But
I know that feel.
But no, it did work for me. And then the other one was the when the mother says like the "don't you dare" and then like slaps the kid or slaps the mom or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not creepy. That one actually I thought was kind of funny this time around. And it's like,
really?
Yeah, that one didn't work for me, which I did remember it. It just didn't land for me like the creepy old man in the hospital thing, because the dialogue's not great, and the unfortunately I don't think the performance by like the young actress who plays Josh's mom in the flashbacks, I don't think she's that good, especially compared to like the older version of the character, who I think does a really good job. Speaking of acting, though, I thought Patrick Wilson again was so good in this movie.
Fucking brought it, dude.
He does. He works so well as like, because you're so used to seeing him as like the good guy, the wholesome dude, and he works really well. And a part of it is like the makeup department does a good job making him like look increasingly more decrepit and decaying as like the movie progresses. But man, he just like really sells the whole like creepy, inhabited by an evil spirit kind of portrayal, and really just like you said, he fucking brings it, man.
Yeah, man.
I liked seeing it, and it's a nice, like I said, like dichotomy from the first film, where it's like he is like the endearing father, and then in this one is just like fucking messed up and twisted. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just like a dramatic Will Arnett.
They do look very similar.
That's who I thought that was for the longest time.
Interesting. I can see that.
And then, like, as soon as he spoke and I didn't hear BoJack Horseman, I was like, okay, so this is not the same guy.
It's hard to take Will Arnett seriously after watching BoJack Horseman. Not that you're supposed to take him.
It's hard to take Will Arnett seriously after watching Brainless or Smartless podcast.
Oh, I don't
documentary. Dude, it's with like Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of it.
It's fucking hilarious. It's on HBO Max. Go watch it.
I'll have to check that out.
Saying that to our listeners as well,
because I do love Will Arnett and I do love Jason Bateman. Now I'm just envisioning what the Insidious movies would be like if it was Will Arnett in place of. Can someone do a deep fake of that for me and deep fake Will Arnett's face and voice into Insidious 1 and 2 especially 2. I need to see like the creepy Will Arnett. But no, yeah. The acting is, the kids are not great.
The kids are not okay.
They're not the best of actors. I don't want to be too harsh on kids. I'm trying to.
You're always too harsh on the kids.
Because like,
speaking of which I was telling you about that I don't want to forget to bring up, because I'm not sure if we talked about it last time. Fucking dude, the kid from Iron Man 3. Is whatchamacallit?
Is Dalton.
Dalton, yeah.
Dalton, yeah.
He played Harley Keener.
Hey, he's also in Avengers Endgame.
He is.
He's in that ending scene.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you caught it the first time you watched it.
Yeah, I have a very good memory, and funny
suck
enough, my
shit.
my college roommate, we were watching a lot of the Marvel movies leading up to Avengers Endgame. We didn't watch all of them because we was college, so we didn't have nearly enough time to like watch every single movie. So we like pick and chose. And one of the movies that he really wanted to rewatch for some reason was Iron Man 3. And I'm like, I really don't know if it's worth it. Like, I don't think anything in that movie is going to connect to Endgame. And he's like, no, I really want to watch it. And I like Iron Man 3. I'm an Iron Man 3 defender. But so anyway, we rewatched it. And then watching Avengers Endgame, when you see that funeral scene and you see Harley pop up, I turned to my roommate and I was like, no fucking way. He's like, I knew it was a good idea to rewatch Iron Man 3.
Oh
But
man,
a lot of Marvel
so
fans
cool.
wanted him to like take over the Iron Man mantle, and I'm like, he's just some random kid. Like, yeah, he's
He is
in
a bit
Iron
of a
Man
random
3,
kid.
but he's not like an engineer
I
or
mean,
like
they did show like him toying with science, and
people just don't want
the end of it.
Riri Williams, and just give her a chance, guys. She's not that bad of a character. Either way,
I think
sidetrack.
like in the movie it was like I don't know.
I liked her. I like
It felt
Ironheart. I like her in Black Panther too. I enjoyed her.
It felt like it felt like kind of like forced, you know.
I guess. I mean, the movie's a little bloated, but I don't think that's her fault. I think it's just a really long
Yeah.
movie. I don't know. Marvel's hit or miss, but either way, you know what is also hit or miss? Blumhouse Productions. And the thing with Insidious 2 is that I do think it is a weaker version of the first film. And while it is an interesting, unique premise, I also, one thing too that I think is really cool that they do is I like how they tie it back into the first film by having
Oh my god, I thought that was really interesting.
yeah, by having Patrick Wilson stuck in the like kind of the what do they call it, the further, and have it loop back around and have him be in that first film. I think is a really cool kind of loop around, and maybe it gets a little convoluted, but I don't know. It worked for me, and I guess there's a little bit of time travel in a sense, since he ends up going in the past, essentially. But I don't know. It kind of works, and I think it goes back to what we were talking about when we discussed the first film. If you guys haven't listened to that episode, give it a listen. It is a good one. But it like when we were discussing how like the world building in this film, and not only world building, but now it's building to the lore, and now like you add like the fact that Patrick Wilson's spirit was present while his body was in the past. I think I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. It's unique. It's different.
I really did think it was interesting.
Yeah, and it gives this movie just that little bit of oomph. And I think we were talking about it a little bit. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, it was just like, and like Lin Shay got to read, got that like awesome line.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so that's what that was about. Like in that way. I laughed so hard.
Oh, speaking of that whole scene, the opening scene where they show young Josh, why the hell did they feel the need to use Lin Shay's voice on the young actress?
I don't know. Oh my god,
That
dude.
was so
that reminds
stupid.
me. In Chucky, the TV series Chucky, have you watched any of it?
Nope.
Well, they show like Charles Lee Ray, he's like younger. They like do like flashbacks. He's younger, like teen years.
Yeah.
Or like early 20s. And they just like kept
His
the
voice.
guy's fucking voice. And so it's like this young ass guy. He's going like, "Hey Tiff, why don't you come over here?" And like I'm,
Ew.
it's weird.
Why do they do that? Just use like a younger actor and like let them use their voice.
And same thing for Tiff. They had like this young blind girl.
Don't make
like-
me think about the Chucky movies.
Oh my god.
That was a dark time.
This is a Chucky TV series. It's different.
I do want to check out the Chucky TV series at some point. I'd like to do a TV series on this podcast at some point. I think that could be kind of fun.
That'd be cool.
And that would be easy to talk about, like for like 20 to 30 minutes, is just talk about like an episode or two.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's just not a lot of horror TV, but I think it could be fun at some point, maybe to like do like American Horror Story, like the first season or something.
Oh yeah.
Because I do have fond memories of that, and I'd like to revisit
I
it
really
at some
did
point.
like the first season. Yeah.
I did too. Things that carry over from the last movie. The cinematography. I don't think there are nearly as many good shots as that first Insidious film, but there are a few. One of my favorite shots, probably my favorite shot, and again, like I said in the last episode, influences, man. Hereditary. That opening shot after the credits of this movie, where it zooms in on Renee talking to the police detective. It's like a really long, lingering zoom in shot, very similar to how Hereditary opens.
Wow.
Again, so like I even marked that in my note. I'm just gonna say James Wan, very, very influential director, and again, like he brings a lot to this movie, a lot of directorial style in the camera movements and how things are framed and the blocking and the movements, and which I really do appreciate. It felt like this film was a little bit rushed. It didn't feel like he had enough time to iron out some of the details, whether it's the script or the filmmaking, because like I said, the cinematography is good, but there's not as many memorable shots, I think, as that first film, where I can like just off the tip of my head like point to like, oh, the shot where like the creature extends its finger pointing at Dalton, or the shot when you see the Darth Maul looking thing for the first time, and like the shot of but where like it like follows Renee as she like takes the trash out and she looks back inside, and it pans around and the little boy is turning the music on, and like there's so many shots in that first film, whereas there's just not a lot to point to in the second movie. You know,
said a lot of stuff just now.
I'm sorry.
No. By all means, I have a lot of taking it in.
I have a lot of thoughts on this movie.
I get you,
but it is a little disappointing. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I gotta say I do as well. I know Diana really liked it, and I went in wanting to like it so much, and in the end, I thought it was fine.
Yeah,
like I really didn't think it was anything extraordinary or anything like bad, but like the one thing that I was actually just like kind of going back and forth with her on before we started the episode was that like I feel like when you kind of explain more of like a enemy or like a villain's like behavior and like bring it down to like mental health or something like that, like I just like I don't think it makes it, I feel like it kind of works against the movie. Like I don't really
like exploring the villain too much can kind of like the Babadook effect, where it's like if they show it too much, it kind of loses its appeal.
Right. So then like, so I kind of liked how it was in the first movie, like when they were when they had like the lady in black in there, and like we don't really know what the fuck's her deal really. She just wants to like take over, and then she did, and then it's like, who the fuck is this bitch? Like we don't know. And then like it's just creepy. I feel like it's creepier that way. But then they go on and like delve deeper, and it's like, all right, I'm done.
I can totally agree with that. I do think that the whole like lady in black dress, which we I guess find out is a man in a black dress, is a lot creepier in the first film. Like the whole sequence with the pictures where they're telling Josh like, oh, every time we took a picture of you, it got closer and closer and closer. I will say in the second film, one scene that I forgot to mention that does scare me, that I think is pretty effective, is when they are in the hospital before the whole like interaction where she talks to the dead version of him or whatever. But when she brings Josh in there, which first of all, why are you bringing your kid into a room with that man? But either way, when he grabs Josh and like screams into his face, like that to me is kind of creepy, because first off, hospitals are extremely unsettling to me to begin with.
But just stay away from that.
Exactly, that was terrifying. And like, but like, imagine being like I don't know, 12 years old or whatever, and like just getting grabbed by like a senile old man in a hospital that you don't know, and he just like he screams in your face. Like you'd be pretty fucking traumatized from that.
Right.
But so I thought that worked, but no, I totally agree with your point and your sentiment that like the more you show of a creature, the more you like, and it is again an interesting setup for this movie that this thing that's been after Josh his entire life finally gets a hold of him because he goes into the further to get his son back and takes a hold of his body. And I like that it's decaying, as like I said, like I love the makeup thing where it's like his face is like decaying and like degrading as the film goes on. I think that's pretty cool. But also I wish that they would have just like leaned a little bit more into the creepiness with Patrick Wilson, just let him go a little bit more buck wild. And they do it a little bit, but they just don't go as far as I think they could have. And maybe if they just pushed the envelope a little bit more with him and just let him go a little bit more into the role, it would have just been at least more of a fun movie. And you can be like, oh, like this is the movie where Patrick Wilson loses his shit. And that could be like a fun Halloween-esque, like, oh, it's October 10th and I just want to see Patrick Wilson go crazy for an hour and 45 minutes. Like it could have been that movie, but they just, I don't know. They lean off the gas a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely felt that.
I will say they fixed the color correction in this movie. It's not as disgusting in my opinion.
I mean, that's your opinion. No, like I thought it was interesting how there almost always was like red on screen, like a red object. Mm-hmm. At some point, Patrick Wilson throws a fucking red teapot or something at his fucking lady, knocks her out, and
yo, he really just fucking yeeted that thing
on the ground, fucking writhing in pain.
He is violent in this movie. Like,
no, he's crazy.
Oh, like he chokes her out. He gets this fucking thing loves choking. Holy shit. He loves choking. What's his name? Parker?
Yeah.
So, do you find this movie creepy for the most part or not really? Like, did you find it scary?
I will say this. I watched this earlier and I had taken a couple allergy pills because I felt myself getting sniffly and I'm going on a trip soon. And if I stay sniffly by that time, I'll probably end my life. So I was like, and like, I guess they had kicked in at a point when I was watching the movie. I was literally like outside, like on my like hammock. We set up a hammock. I was laying there and I was like, trying to like watch the movie at the same time, but I guess it kicked in and then I got like super tired.
Yeah.
So I did fall asleep a little bit, and there were like a couple parts like around that time where I like went like too, but like overall, like it was not.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting movie.
No.
Can't believe you fell asleep.
I feel
everybody,
bad.
Everybody yell at
so
Aaron.
Bad.
Everybody yell at Aaron. For the record, he had 2 weeks to watch the movie. No, I'm just kidding.
I did, bro.
I'm kidding.
I was like,
it's
that's so bad.
I'll be honest. So yeah. Next time, don't admit it on the podcast. But no, you didn't miss too much. There's not a lot. There's not a lot going on.
I went back and I watched like the whole rest of the thing, and I was awake for the whole rest of the thing, so that was fine.
Yeah, no, it's not the most exciting movie. It's not as bad as I remember. This movie has some pretty negative scores online.
Yeah.
And like I think it is a little overhated. As two guys who have seen Sinister 2, I would definitely watch this over Sinister 2 any night of the week. Sinister 2 is just a miserable fucking experience from start to finish. Whereas this one, it has some quality filmmaking in it. There was some entertaining bits. You do get to see Patrick Wilson lose his shit a little bit. There are some nice shots here and there. James Wan, again, he definitely always puts a lot of effort into his movies. And while this one does feel a little more rushed, I want to say the turnaround was pretty quick. What was this, a 2-year turnaround?
I think so.
Like, well, the first one was 2010. This 2013.
This is 2013.
3 years. I guess no excuses there. I don't know. This one just felt like they just had less ideas. And I don't know. There was a lot of like meandering too. Like I didn't need to see specs and like whatever that other guy's name is. What's his name?
Fuck, but let me check.
Oh, I can't remember. But either way, I didn't need to see them investigating the hospital for that long. I didn't need to see them go to Elise's place. Tucker, yeah. I didn't need them to go to Elise's place, and that took a lot of time. Like, this film just felt longer. The first one, I don't know what the runtimes are for both, but the first one just felt a little bit more tightly compact, a little bit more neatly edited, a little bit more, everything kind of bled into each other a little bit cleaner. But this one did feel a little like they tried to do a little too much. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but
no, I mean, I get you. It was just, I don't know, it just didn't really
it didn't click
as much as it did, as the first one did anyway.
No, still not a bad movie though. Watchable.
Yeah.
Let me go through my notes, but I think that's covered. Yeah, that's the first thing I wrote. I hate that they dubbed Lin Shaye's voice over that young actress. I hate that so much.
I also never even got to say. So this has 6.5 stars out of 10 on IMDb. It's directed by James Wan, written by Lee Whannell. And James Wan. Whannell. There you go. James Wan. Stars Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, Barbara Hershey, and the kid from Iron Man 3.
And the kid from Iron Man 3. And the kid from Oculus.
And the kid from Oculus.
We figured out.
Watch that episode.
Yeah, actually don't. That's the one with the messed up audio. Oh, wait. Did we bring this up last week? Because
I think so, yeah.
We brought up something about Oculus. Because I said don't listen to that one, because that's the only one with messed up audio. But either way, I don't really know if I have any other notes. I think this is a fine enough movie. I think it works well enough in sequence to the first film. Like, if you guys want to watch a double feature, I think this and the second one work enough pairing wise. They fit tightly enough together. The first one is, I think, significantly better. In a lot of different ways. Scarier, more effective, creepier, more intense, just a better story, better scares. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say.
I mean, I feel like this movie is for if you have friends who are not really into horror like you are, or haven't really watched it that much. I think that's for you. You should show them this movie. I think they'll get a good kick out of it, but you can just kind of derive joy from their faces instead of the movie, because it's not that great.
I see. I don't know if I'd recommend this to somebody who doesn't like horror, because
not who doesn't like, but just doesn't watch it as much.
Oh,
is not as into it. Has not seen classic movies.
You're saying in terms of being scared, it may scare somebody who hasn't seen a lot of horror films.
Yeah, probably.
That's fair. I do remember the first time I watched it being more scared than I was on any subsequent rewatch, and I think I don't know, the mother character got to me. Abusive mother characters, abusive any characters always fuck with me, but
fucked with me, man.
But yeah, I don't know. It didn't. Yeah, you're right.
Did really lean home?
No, it did not. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other significant thoughts?
Trivia.
Yes. Is there any good trivia or tidbits or facts?
I was trying to read them earlier, and this one's pretty cute. It says at around 25 minutes in, when Specs and Turner and Tucker analyze the footage of young Josh, the Panasonic VCR logo has been worn away in places so that it reads Panic instead.
Okay. I guess that's interesting.
Yeah. And then it says a majority of the film was shot inside Linda Vista Community Hospital, which also doubles as the abandoned hospital that the characters visit. Oh shit, the UK trailer shows footage of Lindsay Syme's actual voice without the Lin Shaye overdub. Dude, you should look that up.
The UK trailer?
The UK trailer, yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I always love seeing how like different countries' trailers have like different things.
Right.
Huh. I'll have to check that out, and then maybe we should both check it out actually, and then next episode well I'll mark in my notes to like we can bring it up. That is, do you want to do Insidious Chapter 3 for the next episode?
I mean, I don't mind continuing.
Do you want to continue the series? I do remember actually liking the third film more than the second film.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where I go with that. All right. Are we? You got any more stuff?
I think the music was very similar. They used a lot of the same scores from the first film, so not much to note there. Again, a lot of good directorial stuff, but yeah, that's about it. Do you want to get into scores? I feel like I know what I want to give this.
I think I know what I want to give it as well.
Okay. Do you want to go first, or you want me to take the lead on that one?
I'll do it.
All right.
I'm gonna give this movie a 6.9. Fucking G-damn fucking kid from Iron Man 3's out of 10.
That's a good score. I'm gonna give this movie a 5.5. How
that was so harsh.
Dare use out of 10. See, that's my thing though. It's like a five and a half is like an average with, I guess, slightly above average movie, and that's what I consider this. This is because of James Wan. I think had any other director been given the script and had made the same movie, it probably wouldn't have had as high of a score. But he really adds a lot to the movie, like I said, with the directing style. But yeah, so either way,
So we're gonna do Insidious Chapter 3 next time.
Yeah, we're gonna do Insidious Chapter 3, which I think has Stephanie Scott in it. I think is the actress.
Fucking actually,
I think that's who it is, but I could be mistaken. And Dermot Mulroney, the guy who plays like a DILF in every single thing he's in, New Girl, everything. He was also in Scream 6. But either way, so Insidious Chapter 3 is our next episode. You guys can find this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It's also going to be on YouTube this time, which is cool. I don't know if I'll get around to uploading the old episodes to YouTube, but definitely the new ones will be on YouTube. But that being said, you can find us on Instagram at Scared Speechless, all underscored, all Stephanie one letter. Scott. Yeah, it is Stephanie Scott, so I'm excited for that.
Dermo Mulroney.
Yes. Yeah, it's. I remember one scene specifically, so I'm excited to see how that plays out this time. You can find me
and Haley Kiyoko.
Who?
Haley Kiyoko
from Lemonade Mouth.
Yeah, dude.
Oh shit! No way.
Yeah, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And also Jenna Ortega.
Yes.
Was in Chapter 2. We completely forgot to talk about that.
I do forget that Jenna Ortega was at the end of this movie. Fun fact, sorry to disappoint you, Aaron, but the end of this movie has nothing to do with Insidious 3. So,
are you fucking?
Yeah. So don't go into Insidious. Right, don't go into Insidious 3 expecting that the cliffhanger ending of 2 leads into 3.
What an asshole ending.
Yeah, no, I know.
That is so rude.
It's such a dick move. It's because James Wan doesn't direct 3. He cancels I'm sorry, not cancels. He directs. I don't know why I said cancel. He directs. He's not. Yeah, that's the. I think Lee Wanell writes and directs the third one. So
he does. I'm checking right now.
All right, guys. Like I said, you can find this podcast on Spotify and on Apple Music. You can also find this podcast on Instagram at Scared Speechless, all under all lowercase letters, all one word. You can also find me on my personal Instagram at boosjacob, spelled BOOSJACOB, as well as my YouTube channel, The Former Film Student, where I do movie and TV related content. I've actually been doing a lot of TV related content recently, so if you watch a lot of TV shows, Succession, Barry, all that stuff, you can find me doing videos on those over there. Go check me out over there. As well as, Aaron, you got anything that you would like to plug?
I have an Instagram. Is that okay?
Yeah,
I'll
Instagram.
do my-
Instagram is all good.
I'll do my Instagram. So that's at Vixatic. That's VIXATIC. Don't worry about what it means. It's just a thing. I don't really post stuff. I should fucking try. Like at this point in my life, I have so much to share with the world.
Yeah, dude, you're going on an awesome trip, and that's gonna be so
I'm
cool.
so excited.
I'm so excited for you, dude. You're gonna have such a good time. It's gonna be so much
man.
fun.
Yeah, man. I'm so stoked.
Yeah,
Alright,
dude,
dog.
you're gonna have a great time. I'm excited. We should do when you come back. We should do a Japanese horror film. I think that would be so cool. I got a couple in mind. We could do like The Grudge, or we could do like the original Ring. I think that'd be a lot of fun, dude. And those movies are scary too.
Ringu?
Yeah, Ringu, dude. Japanese films. Japanese do horror right. Let me tell you.
I am so fucking stoked.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So we'll do that once we finish the Insidious series. That'll be something to look forward to. But yeah, guys, put us on. We do appreciate you guys listening. It means the world to us. Every single one of you. It really means the world, and we do really appreciate it. Throw us on. We're doing shorter episodes now, so throw us on whenever you guys got 30 to 40 minutes to listen to us babble. We're trying to do more current horror films as well. I know we just said we were gonna do like an old Japanese film, but we are focusing on doing more recent stuff too. We did one of our newer episodes on a Netflix film, Eerie, so you can check that out. We're also doing the Insidious series. Obviously, if you're listening to this one, you are on part 2 of that. We got 2 more Insidious films leading into the new Insidious one, which is being directed by Patrick Wilson, also starring him, and it's going to be a continuation of the story of the characters, the Lambert family from the first 2 films, so that'll be really cool. But other than that, guys, thank you guys again for listening. Aaron, do you have any other thoughts?
Throw us on when you're beating the shit out of your local transphobe.
Yeah. No transphobia. We support trans people, LGBTQ plus. We are allies. Scared Speechless. You guys have allies with Scared Speechless. But either way, guys, that is it for today, guys. Thank you for listening again, and we will see you guys on the next episode of Scared Speechless. And goodbye.
And good night.